Today is the day we run the third most important race on Memorial Day weekend, the Coke 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Of course, this is a excruciatingly long race, as the 600, which stands for miles in the title would imply. This race is also unique to NASCAR in that it has 4 stages as opposed to 3, so that kind of turns it into even more of a football game than the stages already kind of turned NASCAR into. So let's see if we can get qualified well here at Charlotte. We're usually pretty good here because especially the turns 3 and 4 complex of this racetrack is very much a driver's corner, I guess you could call it. So one of the setup tricks I've been using is to lower the tire pressures, and I think I may have lowered them too much. Yeah. It just had a lot of push in it, so that wasn't the best run of all time. I guess push is good for traffic conditions. Jimmy Johnson gets the pole from Kyle Larson. Going to be a lot of patriotic paint schemes in today's race, so be on the lookout for that. It's going to mean I'm going to make a lot of mistakes with my commentary too, which is always fun. So let's head it over to PRN. Headed over. That's English, isn't it? And for PRN to get us started on this Memorial Day weekend classic.
We're live from Charlotte Motor Speedway for the running of the Coca Cola 600. Today's event is one of the more unique races on the NASCAR schedule. At 600 miles, drivers and crew alike will face the ultimate test of skill and especially endurance. In 2016, Martin Truex Jr. dominated this race, leading 392 of 400 laps. So he's definitely one of the favorites today. NASCAR racing is coming up next on PRN.
Well, I guess we need to beat Truex today, and we're down and racing in the Coke 600 as we pass the chicane for the Roval, which we won't be racing at in today's today's race. Well, certainly not today's race, but I can't imagine what 600 miles on the Roval would be like. The 24 hours of Charlotte, maybe. No, we will not be racing on that later this season. We'll have to do some special videos later on to kind of commemorate that race, but yeah, whoa, okay, that's getting too low in turn 3 and immediately crashing out on the lap 1 of the Coke 600 as the 83 gets into the wall of Corey LaJoie. So it didn't even make it one of 100 laps without crashing, so that whole tight thing I guess wasn't a big factor, was it? I guess when you touch the apron here at Charlotte, it still gives you the unfortunate reality of the situation that you're probably going to wreck. Okay, something I want to point out is that you're going to see a lot of cars, generally the ones that have the special paint schemes for today's race, with the NASCAR Salutes banner. I think that's pretty cool. However, I do wish that the generic paint schemes in this game also switched to a Salutes banner, even if that particular paint scheme did not race at the race, if that makes sense. Oh boy, that was Corey LaJoie bouncing off the wall and almost causing another crash, so almost didn't even get through the first 2 laps under green in this one. And so now let's try to work our way back up to the field. It's going to take us a little time to get the tire pressures up to pressure, I guess you could say, with us running them as low as we are. However, once the tire pressures kick in, I think we're going to be good. For whatever reason, they really overinflate the tires on the default setup, and that's something I've just discovered needs to change if you're trying to go fast in this game, or at least have a nice stable setup that you can be confident in. And I'm never very confident with the AI in tri-ovals like the ones at Charlotte, but we're okay for now. Just trying to work our way through traffic, giving Cody Ware quite a bit of heck right there, and we've got lots of rivals as well back here in the back, so we got to be careful, because that's Elliott Sadler, Jeffrey Earnhardt, a couple of drivers who are not particularly the most friendly with me as we're... Thanks, Landon. That's going to be a yellow. Yeah, Castle dove down in front of me. I had to save it because I had to back out of the freaking gas in the middle of the corner, and then I wrecked Landon Castle. So he's probably not going to be too thrilled with me either. And boy, we're just going to have a lot of yellow in this race, and I don't think it's don't think it's going to feel nearly as long as I was worried it was going to, as we get back to green here behind Timmy Hill. With 14 laps to go in stage 1, so Stage is already going by pretty quick, or at least first stage is. Working around the outside of Timmy Hill. Can't quite get all the way around him. And now battling with Landon Castle down the back straightaway. He's been involved in the first 2 crashes of the day. A honor that only he and I share. All right. New plan of attack. All right. Never mind. Let's bring it into the pits. Take some tape off the grill. Accept that. Or not. I am off my game today, as you can tell, for whatever reason. Not sure why. So we're back in 40th once again. Maybe we can actually get this race underway. Because it hasn't really been this entire time. I definitely don't have a car that should be back here in 40th, I can tell you that. And I think that's where a lot of the accidents are coming from, because I'm trying to pass these guys because I'm so much faster, and I'm unable to do so. So now to the outside of Cole Witt. Making the pass there. Now getting trapped behind DJ Kennington and Landon Castle, who's been our bestest of friend all day long. Yep, that's going to push up almost into the wall. I held on to it. And almost getting to the wall off of 4. That's interesting. Just have to feather the throttle through the tri-oval because there's nowhere to go. But 1 and 2 is pretty much flat out. Pretty much. As I would have loved to have cleared Ty Dillon right there. We got Jeffrey Earnhardt to our inside, and that's usually asking for trouble. And I drive around the outside. Ty Dillon as well. That's very nice. Joey Gase. I can't quite get him. Gotta fall into line here. Timmy Hill decided to put me up in the wall, and so did Jeffrey Earnhardt. So now we're trapped once again. So I'm going to have to give Gase a big old shove here. Thanks, Timmy. Thank you. And then Ty Dillon just decided to pile in there for no reason. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is a wreck fest and a half, and we're not even... haven't even really got this race started yet. I think some people stayed out, including Cole Witt. We'll see how that works out for him. We're not last because Ty Dillon decided to plow into me right as the yellow came out. But we're back to racing once again. Making a 3-wide move underneath Landon Castle and DJ Kennington. Definitely asking for trouble here, but we managed to be okay. Now if we could just get around Timmy Hill without too much drama. I'm going to give him a little bit of roughing up for the roughing up job he gave me on the back straightaway. I should not have made that. I should not have made that corner. How I made that corner, I will never know, but ultimately, it doesn't really matter how I made it. I did. And so we'll continue on, working our way up through the field as Danica Patrick gets a little bit loose on the outside groove. Shouldn't you be in Indianapolis, Danica? Shouldn't you be participating in the Danica double right now? Oh well. All right, so 3 wide to the inside, lifting off the gas, little bit of a break in the center, and move up and smack Michael McDowell for absolutely no reason. So Elliott Sadler gonna have to pass him, hopefully cleanly, as McDowell was not giving me any kind of chance to clear him. And now we clear Sadler. Working our way into the center here. Bad idea. Very, very bad idea. I realized I made my mistake right as I stuck my nose in there. I backed out of it and somehow managed to come out smelling like roses. But that was a close one, to say the least, right there. So with 2 laps to go in the stage, we're not going to be anywhere close to the front unless I have an absolutely monumental run through the pack right here. Field is finally starting to kind of spread out down to the bottom, so that's actually leaving the top side open for me, which is quite nice. Well, the center open for me in that case with Paul Menard, as we got the 2 JTG cars up in front of me. Can't really make any kind of a move right there, as we're on the white flag lap of this stage and driving all the way around the outside. 3 wide with JTG on the inside. Woo! That's a nice move on the outside, getting a few positions right there. And it's unfortunate because right as I get the car to work, I put it in the wall, but also the stage is about to end, so we'll be 24th crossing the line. But hey, it's not too bad. It'll be interesting to see if Cole Witt managed to hold on for that stage win because he was up at the front. Let's see. It's not going to show us the stage win. So, no, he didn't. He fell back to 11th, but good on him. He did it. Okay, so we got 10 laps left of fuel, 76 to go in the race. Nobody's pitting, so we won't. We'll keep track position because it seems to be fairly important at Charlotte as opposed to pretty much everywhere else where really you want tires. But it seems like with the tight nature of this track, we really want to be closer to the front. So that's what we'll do. And then these next 10 laps, try to battle as high up into the field as we can as Jamie McFlurry's up here, so he's a rival. We need to be careful of him as we're working underneath the patriotic scheme of Stenhouse. Oh, Kurt Busch almost goes around. I thought I had hit him light enough that he wouldn't do that, but turns out he went around almost. As we just drive it off into turn one. Now look at that speed we were able to carry because Trevor Bayne kind of got held up by Kurt Busch. The only thing that Kurt Busch spin did was it spread the field out nice and easily for me. So that's a good thing. Now can I cowboy around the outside of Denny Hamlin? Not going to quite be able to pull it off. Once I get up here to McFlurry, that's going to be a bit of a bugaboo in itself as Hamlin decided to take a swipe at me there. Kind of shoved me up the track just a little bit. And I'm behind Clint Boyer, getting a good run behind him. Can I make it 3 wide? Yes, I think about it. Clint Boyer, is he a rival? Yeah, I think he is a rival. That would explain why he tried to absolutely push me into the inside wall at a 1.5 mile track where there's an inside wall pretty far away from the actual edge of the course. Now we're coming up behind the driver who actually won this race last year, Austin Dillon. So judging by his success rate in the major NASCAR races, he will be the 2019 Brickyard 400 champion. Does he win the... whoop. Really? Now I brought the yellow out, and that means most, but not all, the field is going to be coming in. How bad's my car damn? You know what? Ooh, do I want to do this? Let's give this a shot. Not going to pit. We're going to take a bit of a strategy call. We're going to stay out here with Cole Witt, and I'm going to try to get a lead. I don't know. This may be a terrible, terrible idea. If I lose a lap, we'll get it back on the stage caution. So that's not really a concern. With 15 laps to go, we've got 5 in the tank. So we'll be coming in with 10 to go in the stage as Cole Witt is working behind me. And we'll drive off the corner better than him. Now Kyle Busch getting a run on the outside. We'll move up to block him as we move off into turn 3 and 4 this time, which I mentioned in the intro was kind of more of a driver's turn. It's a bit tighter than 1 and 2. And we kind of pulled away a little bit from Kyle that time. And Kyle Larson is in the pits right now. So that's interesting. So Kyle Larson is the first retirement of the Coke 600. Unfortunate for him after qualifying on the front row. But as we pull away, get a little bit of a lead, and hopefully get some separation from the rest of the field. This is a bit of a bold strategy, if I may say so myself. But we'll see if it works out. Daniel Suarez has worked his way up into 3rd in a subway paint scheme, which, of course, if you know the history of what happened there, you'll find that fairly hilarious. 3 laps to go on fuel. This makes me wonder a bit, though. Will the AI be able to make it from this point without having to come into the pits? It'll be interesting, but That 3 and 4 was very bad, and here comes Kyle Busch up behind. Wasn't able to quite close the gap that time. Still no fuel alarm, which is kind of interesting. So we're getting good gas mileage, which is a positive. That can be used later in the race. So there's the fuel alarm, so we'll come around next lap and come into the pits and make our first stop of the day under the green flag, and we'll be coming to 10 laps to go on the stage. And we're pulling away once again from Kyle Busch. He's running fairly low on the track. He can't be coming in, is he? That'd be fairly interesting if he was. Hey. Careful, Mr. David. That is a very bad thing. All right, into the pits. 2 tires, 1.5 cans of fuel should get us to the end of the stage. Okay, definitely going to lose 1 lap. I think we kind of realized that. Also, the scoring pylon is showing all 88s and no other number, which is kind of interesting. So I guess they really like me. And back out into the race we go. So we've lost a lap to the entire field, but we'll be able to make it to the end of the stage on our fuel. I don't know if the rest of the field will be able to say that. Now that I start to think about it, maybe they won't be able to make it from here. We'll just have to wait and see. Once again, we'll be able to run by ourselves here, at least for a little while. I think we'll end up catching those cars near the end of the field, like Ty Dillon, Timmy Hill, Jeffrey Earnhardt before the end of the stage. But right now, we're able to run all by ourselves. We'll get the lucky dog. Should anyway. Woo, that's loose. That car was loose there in 1 and 2. And once again, cars running fairly low on the back straightaway. And that usually says that cars are coming into the pits. And boy, would I love it if I made a good strategy call. But right now, they're still staying out. But Cole Witt is coming into the pits, so we'll unlap ourselves from him. Somehow he was able to stretch the fuel longer than me, which is a little bit concerning from a strategy call perspective. But regardless, we should be able to unlap ourselves from him. And Clint Boyer is falling through the field. We just went back on Clint Boyer's lap. So not sure what happened to Clint Boyer unless he just pulled off into the pits for whatever reason. Did not think we were on the same strategy as Boyer, but there he goes into the pits. So we should be unlapping ourselves from Cole Witt, or passing Cole Witt, I should say. Unlapped ourselves from him the last lap. So up to 38th position. Should be in 37th next time around when we pass Clint Boyer. And again, the question I have is, will the AI be able to make it all the way as we pass Clint Boyer somehow on the back straightaway? Not sure how that all works out. But it worked out that way. So we hold on to the lucky dog position. So I guess Clint Boyer may have been a dropout of the race. He may be out. And that may be curtains for Clint Boyer. So Boyer and Larson out so far. And now we're going to take to the task of unlapping ourselves from back markers. Because that's the sorry state of this race right now. So, well, no, into the pits come some of the leaders. Ah, really? Really, game? Did you have to? Oh. Well, that's annoying. They were just starting to all pit. Just as I was gonna get my lap back. That was a poor strategy, I think. Do I take this out? No, we've got another stage to go, don't we? So, we got another guaranteed caution. We'll stay out. We'll stay out. Get the free pass here. Would have gotten it anyway, I suspect. But I want to keep off the strategy as best I can. So Cole Witt, side by side with me. He's a lap down, but he gets to be further up the track because of the fact that I took a lucky dog and he didn't. So there's 26 laps in this stage, and that certainly means that there will be a pit stop in the middle of it for everybody, including me. So that's why we're doing this right now. And that's why I did that. That was poor driving right there. So 6 laps to go. I hope my fuel tank lasts 20 laps. I don't know if it's going to last 20 laps. That's kind of going to be an ask. But I have been getting good fuel mileage, so that's a good thing, right? Jeffrey Earnhardt moves up the track. We'll have to dispatch of him fairly quickly, and hopefully Timmy Hill just stay there. Thank you.
Car outside. Clear up top. Low.
Allowed me to get around Jeffrey Earnhardt for the splittiest of the split seconds. And then they both passed me back because I had to drive it in real deep to try to pass him. And we're right at the halfway mark of the race, if you can believe it. So still a long way to go here at Charlotte. And Jeffrey Earnhardt and Timmy Hill are trying to wreck each other
Still there.
for reasons unbeknownst to me, as we won't run way low on the track. I had to shove Cole Witt in there because otherwise Timmy Hill was going to try to kill me. Thankfully I didn't get the radiator, David. Accents. Yeah, didn't get the radiator though, so we're all good. All good. So Cody Ware. Can we drive through the middle of these two? Well, yeah, to a certain extent. Wasn't the cleanest pass of all time, but we were able to get there. Now on the outside of DJ Kennington. Try to drive around the outside of Joey Gay's car, pushing like a dump truck right now. Probably because the tires on the right side are fairly worn. Let's take a look here. Yeah, 31%. Not gonna have to actually worry about them. They're not gonna blow in the next few laps, but they're definitely gonna be a pain. That is for certain sure. As we pass Joey Gase and now come up behind a big old group of cars.
Bottom clear.
Still a lot of push, and there's the fuel alarm on. Contact with Joey Gase was no good. Here comes DJ Kennington trying to get around. He couldn't quite get it. So now, this stage needs to stay green. There is no option here but this thing to stay green, because otherwise I'm going to be getting a lucky dog, but it's not going to matter. Oops, up in front of... Okay, and go around. Alright, into the pits we go. Maybe. So this one's going to be a full service pit stop. The key to this thing is going to be staying 1 lap down, not 2. If we go 2 laps down, it's a big deal. So waiting on the second can of fuel to get done. Second set of tires as well going on. First time those tires have been changed in quite a while. And it was actually a faster pit stop than estimated. So now back out into the fight we go. Cole Witt is 14 seconds up the road, so that means the leaders are probably 3 seconds ahead of him, so probably 18 seconds, but that is not 2 laps down, which is exactly what I need to do. So now on fresh tires with a clean track, we need to kick it into gear here with 13 laps on our fuel, and as we cross the line to go on the stage 19 laps. Uh-oh. We're going to have to do a splash. Oh, no, there's going to be a yellow, and I'm not going to get my lap back. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, I might get the wave around here. That might save me. Let's see. Do not pit. Yep, back to the lead lap. So, no harm, no foul there, and that's going to be good because then I'm going to be able to be back on sequence with the leaders at the end of the stage. Would have liked that to stay green. I would have liked if that yellow had come when I had cycled around to the lead. But with 14 to go, wow, we're still not going to be able to make it on fuel. Uh-oh. That's a problem. But I needed my lap back, so I may be running this car out to get to the finish of the stage. We'll see. And Jeffrey Earnhardt and I trading a lot of paint, but I was able to drive around him. Thankfully, the fresh tires on my car definitely helping out significantly. How I saved that, I'll never know, and how Cody Ware saved that, and how everybody saved that, that was the luck of the draw right there. No doubt about it. Oh, there was some smoke up there. I don't know why there was smoke, but I saw some smoke. I was looking at the running order there, And suddenly I see smoke out in front. I'm like, uh-oh, that's not good. But everything stays copacetic, at least for now. Now lift off the gas. Just try to drive around the outside. Dive in underneath David Reagan. Try to suck along down the middle of the track. Drive into Corey LaJoy. Drive Corey LaJoy around. Around goes Corey LaJoy. He saves it too. Well, we're just a wrecking ball right now, which is probably not really helping my rival status. 11 laps to go. We've got 10 in the tank. So that math don't add up as far as I'm concerned, as we drive around the outside of Elliott Sadler pretty easily, and now a big old group of cars just down to the inside following Kyle Busch, who for some reason is back here after racing with me for the lead earlier in this event. Another thing is, we do know we can lead this thing. I was able to pull away pretty easily under the last green flag sequence when we had the lead. So it's certainly possible. We've got the two Busch brothers just out in front. And they go 3 wide out in front. Newman and Allmendinger and Busch all 3 wide as we'll continue to draft with Busch as Newman has to back out of it. He was the odd man out on the outside. 9 laps to go on the stage. 8 laps to go on the fuel, so the math is still not adding up. But really, I just have to limp around for half a lap. I just need the guys, the top 10, to finish the stage. Oh! Oh, sorry, Chase. Oh, that's not going to go over well in the team meeting. And Denny Hamlin puts me in the wall. This is going to probably bring out the yellow, yeah. Well, shoot. Shoot. That'll probably get me to the end of the stage. We're gonna stay on sequence. I want to stay on sequence with the leaders now. If I can get fuel up on them, I'd love it, but we're not trying to stretch it anymore. So I'll take my 14 seconds of repairs and just do it when we get in the pits the next time around, as David Reagan decides to put me up in the wall and restart. I think he's a rival as well. We're gonna have a lot of rivals after this race, I suspect. I think I've said that a few times before, but it's worth repeating. That car is looking terrible from that perspective, but somehow I'm able to hold on to it right now. Getting behind Numa here. And finally the aerodynamics said, nope, you're done. 4 laps to go on the stage, and now it's going to be getting shoved by Timmy Hill time. Somehow the car is still hanging on right now. I don't know how, I don't know why, but it is. And we're actually pulling away from Timmy Hill and pulling up behind this big group of cars that I can't pass because there's nowhere to go. 5 laps to go on fuel. Yeah, we got enough fuel now to at least make it to the end of this stage. And then mercifully we can get into the pits. Whoa, look at that. Cole Witt just gave Sadler a bit of a shove because Sadler was trying to come down. Caused some issues for me. Oh my gosh! Holy crap! What a horrible accident. That made Scott Dixon's Indy 500 crash look like a friggin' daycare at... Oh my... I don't even know what to say about that. Daycare at Mr. Fluffy Pants' house. Good God. That was a horrible accident. Oh my God. That was the worst crash I've ever seen in Heat. And I didn't even cause it. Holy smokes. How did that even happen? Well, regardless, we're in the final quarter of the race. 25 laps to go. 1 pit stop probably going to be the necessary amount to the end. And hopefully we don't have to see anything quite that horrible again, though Corey LaJoie looked like he was going to try to start something there.
Stay right there.
As we get in behind Corey LaJoie. And start to run behind him. To the outside we go. Trying to drive around. Well, we're going to get behind David Reagan here, who is a rival, so we've already pissed him off today, so let's just drive him down the back straightaway.
Keep it right there.
And around the outside of David Reagan. Can I hold on to it? No, I can't.
Still there. Car inside.
David Reagan goes back through. Absolutely side by side all the way through the field right now. Reagan gets a loose out in front of me. Drive around the outside of him this time and actually make it stick. Yes, sirree, Bob.
Stay right there.
Look at that move down to the inside of Allmendinger and McDowell. A couple of Champ Car drivers right there. Former Champ Car drivers anyway.
Clear up top.
Slide underneath Chase Elliott, Trevor Bayne. Get a nice run behind Matt Kenseth. And Chris Buescher decided just to back out of whatever he was doing right there. In behind Kurt Busch. Giving him an absolute shove the whole way around through the corner, and it's allowing Matt Kenseth to get through as Kurt Busch is driving very slow. Very slow. Kurt Busch, you so steely. Oh, God, up in the wall again we go. Good God. So, Kurt Busch completely killed my momentum. Thanks, Kurt. Appreciate it. Guess it would help if I put up a lap leaderboard right there. There we go. So I work around the outside. Landon Castle up to 17th after crashing several times earlier in the race, early on.
Close clear.
And behind Matt Kenseth. He works his way up top around the outside of Paul Menard. Can't quite get there. Big run behind Paul Menard. Underneath with 20 laps to go. Ah, the car works up the track just a little too much there. Matt Kenseth slides. He's actually clipping the wall down the back straightaway. Not sure why that is. Matt clearly does not care anymore. Getting a nice run underneath Kenseth. Can't quite pull the pass off though. 19 laps to go in the event. In the Coke 600. The amount of yellows, I'm sure we're closing in on 3 in the morning here for this race to be over with. So drive around the outside of a few Gibbs cars. Hopefully we can get 3 of the 4 right here by the time I get to turn 3 and 4.
Hold your line.
And Danica all the way up to 12th.
Car there.
So she's doing well at the wrong track.
Low. Low.
I'm at the wrong track, says Danica Patrick in a Michael Waltrip voice.
Hold your line.
And around the outside of Danica Patrick we go.
Clear low.
Fairly easily. So now we're looking at a top 10 here. Coming to the end of the Coke 600, so that's pretty good considering where we were earlier in this race. And obviously leading it for a little while. But that was on pit sequence. This is kind of a different situation altogether as Danica's coming up behind with 17 laps to go. Drive it down into 1 and 2. And in behind Stenhouse. Get a nice run. 192, 3, 4, 5, 6. 196 going into 3 and 4. Trying to drive around the outside of Stenhouse. Can it be done? Nope. Stenhouse didn't quite clear him, and that put the yellow out. Which means we should be able to make it to the end of the race. I guess it's okay. I would have liked to have seen a green flag pit stop there, but my own dumb, stupid self decided to put it in the wall. Thankfully, everybody took tires on that pit stop, so we didn't lose any positions, and we still got McFlurry in front of me, which is disappointing. And the car decided to make a bit of an interesting move right there. 13 to go. Fuel tank, 14 laps. So this is going to be a dash to the finish. Should be able to make it from here. I think everybody should be able to make it from here, I would imagine, but it's possible. There'll be some fuel mileage shenanigans. There's a few drivers who have won this race in the past that way, and most notably, of course, Austin Dillon, who did it last year that way. As I snuck underneath several cars right there, including Stenhouse, and now underneath Blaney. Coming up behind Casey Coney right here. Down into turn 1. He's a teammate, so it'll be nice to me, right? Yes, he will. Truex, who PRN warned us would be very strong today, is running 7th. And now coming up behind Joey Logano in the yellow Castroneves paint scheme. Maybe I should call that a Danny Sullivan paint scheme, I don't know. But driving around the outside, well, trying to, not going to work. Here comes Truex back to the inside. So it's a pack race here for the lead few spots. It's Harvick leading. No, it's not Harvick leading. Excuse me. Harvick is leading us. But somebody else is leading the race. I thought that was Harvick, but apparently not. It's a blue and white car. It's a dark blue and white car, but that could mean any number of people. It might be Jimmy the Juggernaut now that I think about it. Whoa, we were 3 wide there as you heard the spotter call out. Ooh, baby. That was a save and a half right there. And now here comes Harvick to the outside with 10 laps to go in the Coke 600. It's Johnson from Jones, Keselowski, Logano. Almirola is starting to fall back. He's scraping the outside wall. I think he may be in a little bit of trouble right here. As I'm going to dive down the inside, get underneath Almirola. Can't quite pull off the pass though. And Almirola will hold on for now. In the front, crossing the line. 9 laps to go. Door-to-door contact with Almirola. He will heed that position and now try to set off in pursuit of Truex. Down the back straightaway, the Penskes are working together down on the inside. Truex just out in front of me. Ah, yellow flag. Wonderful. So it's not going to be a fuel mileage dash. It's going to be one of those races. It's going to be one of those races. All right. Starting 6th on the outside. 5 cars to pass. 2 Penskes. 2 Toyotas. 1 Chevy. Here we go. And just door Truex on the restart because once again I'm starting the tri-oval. And we're back to racing. Up into 4th gear. Logano kind of held up by Jones. Truex makes a move down to the inside. Almirola down there as well. Now we've got Jimmy the Juggernaut kind of blocking 2 lanes of traffic down the back straightaway. 196 on the way in, kind of lifted early to try to do that. 3 wide on the outside. Got to make it work this time. Didn't work. Oh, that was a mistake. That was a big mistake. There goes McFlurry. There goes Suarez. Harvick trying to get to the inside. He will for just the briefest of seconds as I just cowboy it out the outside groove there. Everybody working the bottom right now. It looks like Johnson's getting a little bit of a challenge from Keselowski there for the lead. Couldn't quite pull it off though. Johnson holds on to the point. Blaney working his way up in there. He might as well be a Penske car. With the Wood Brothers support. So that's essentially 3 Penske cars kind of running up here in the front on Memorial Day. That doesn't really surprise me, but what does not surprise me either is that Jamie McFlurry's being a bit of a pain. Whoa, into the wall we go. Once again. Thanks, McFlurry. Appreciate it. Well, now we're single file, so this is the most realistic racing I've ever seen at Charlotte Motor Speedway in my whole life. Oh, contact with Kyle Busch. As we're coming across the line here, gonna get 3 laps to go. So single file. All the way through. Oh, boy. No, bad. Bad. Mongo, no biscuit.
Clear.
I drove it off way, way too hard to turn 1. And so now we're back to lucky 13th. So now it's going to be, well, they're 3 wide out in the front of this little mini pack. So that might give me something to capitalize on here as we get the 2 laps to go presented by Nationwide Insurance. Or the Monster Energy 2 laps to go. Actually, that's probably more accurate. Especially because they're really trying to get that title sponsor re-upped. Got to get the sponsor happy. All right, to the outside of Kyle Busch. Can I get her done here into turn number 3?
Still there.
Yeah, front end washed out a little bit. Holding on to it is Kyle Busch.
Hold your line. Last lap.
1 to go. Presented by PNC Bank. Driving on the outside. Getting 1 more position. Getting 2 more positions. Thank you to teammate Chase Elliott for being nice to me. I'd love to pass McFlurry. Don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. I followed Almirola into the wall there. We're going to follow Almirola all the way down turn 3. Oh, absolutely wreck Almirola. Oh, no! Oh, it's a big one. It's a big one coming to the line. You got to try driving her across the line. Oh, God, we're going to hit Kyle Larson. There's... Oh, boy.
That's our run.
Oh, 34th. Oh, dearie me. I should have just crashed into Larson at that point. So this was pretty much some instant karma in the instant replay as I bounced off of Almirola, tried to shove him through, and then Almirola absolutely died. And then somehow the field didn't actually get collected there, even though Kyle Busch and Eric Almirola both go into the pit lane and crash. I somehow managed to avoid Senpai and cross the line. Let's take a look at that big wreck, too. I'm still not sure how the physics work on this one. You can see cars just bouncing off each other, and then they're still wrecking. Anyone want to explain that one? I just don't. How? How did that happen? Now look here, Eric Jones is somehow in the middle, or not Eric Jones, I'm thinking of 2018. Somehow Matt Kenseth is up in the middle of the air, and then Kyle Busch goes up to try to save him. We've got Austin Dillon flying through the air, and then they make contact, and it's like a basketball hoop, and then they have another car go down, and somehow they miss Timmy Hill by the most inches of inches right there. And then we slam into the back of Chase Elliott. But just look at this. Just look at this. Will you look at this? Look at this. Look at this. If I could get a good camera angle. Yeah, look. Look at this crash. I don't get it. How did this happen? How? Why? How did they get to this position? So that was a wild one. Lots and lots of crashing, but that's kind of like the 2005 Coke 600 where just everything went wrong. However, the winner wasn't all that surprising as from the pole, it was Jimmy the Juggernaut Johnson as we move back around. Yes, winning the race and including at least one of the 4 stages, though it looks like he may have won. He may have gone to sweep. He may have won every... No, Kevin Harvick won a stage as well. So, at least Jimmy didn't win every single thing of every single lap today. This is a pretty rich race, but finishing 34th, I don't think we're going to make a whole lot of money. No, we did not. Hendrick Motorsport going to pay us, and that incentive contract is deader than this race is at this point. So that was a thing that happened. We've completed 2 races and none of the incentive contract requirements, and oh boy, I wonder what Michael McDowell has to say.
Listen, man, we all run into tough times. It happens. You just got to keep your head up, keep grinding. There's always next week.
Oh, that was a nice message. Well, finally, a little bit of respect from my competitors. I like hearing that. So, moving on, we will be going to Dover next. Oh boy, I wonder, hold on a second. Let's see how many rivals we're taking into Dover. 1, 2, 3, 4, both the Dillons, I'm Kamikaze, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12. 12 rivals. 12 rivals at Dover. The Drive for Autism 400. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be wonderful. Wonderful. Can't wait to see you there when I get run over a lot. Bye.